this video, we're gonna be taking a look at some more awesome glitches and Build-A-Boat for Treasure. You guys really enjoyed my last video, so I'm making another part, and if you guys want to see a part 3, get this video to 200 likes. So let's get straight into one of the first cool glitches, and this one is pretty sick. So one of the first cool block glitches is that you can actually make yourself your own animated blocks in Build-A-Boats. Yes, you guys heard that right. The block behind me is actually animated, so every time I turn my camera, it actually changes shape depending on how you look at it, and it's actually really cool to mess around with, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do this. So to actually do this, you're going to need to get yourself some snow blocks, and these can be purchased inside of the shop, but you can get 50 of them for 350 gold. Now, what I would do before you do anything, I recommend painting it the color you want. So in this case, we're going to use, let's use bright pink here. Okay, let's use bright pink, and we're going to just mirror and then select and mirror. Previously, this took a lot longer to do because you had to place the blocks individually or use, like, you know, the duplicate tool, but now we have mirror, which is so much better. And we're gonna make this pretty massive here, so that way we get the most effect out of it. So the larger you make it, the more cool effect it's going to have. So in this case, I'm just gonna keep on duplicating, and I'll see you guys when I have my full structure made and ready to go. I'm making this thing gigantic just to show you guys how cool this could actually look, and just look at how satisfying it is just building on its own. That is so cool. All right, so now that we have this thing fully done here, actually, I'm going to make it slightly taller. I want the most effect out of this. Oh, wait, I'm out of blocks. Hold on, I gotta buy some more blocks here. Hold on. All right, I'm buying 750 more blocks. I kind of went a little overboard on this, but hey, it's worth the investment here. This is gonna look cool. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're now going to place a block. This time, it's a lot easier. We're going to scale it in just one stud right there, and then we're going to basically just cover this entire shape that we just made. So we're going to cover it from that end, and we're just going to scale it up just like this. And wow, you guys can see right there, I can't make it on the top. I don't have enough blocks. All right, hold on. I'm buying some more. I'm buying 100 more blocks. I'm now broke. I have no more gold. Okay, let's go like this. Let's scale this up a little bit. There we go. Okay, we have enough. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take everything and highlight it. By the way, you guys could change this color to anything, but changing the other color is going to be a little bit more difficult because you have to paint every single one individually, but this one you can change. So let's paint it blue, for example. So then we're going to take our property tool. We're going to select everything here and turn transparency to 25%. And then look at this, guys. It works on both ends. It is super cool. So depending on how you look at it, I mean, you can have a block that literally is animated. It looks super awesome. And as I mentioned, you can change the color. So if I wanted it to be this color, I could do that. If I wanted it to be that, maybe even red as well, a green. And depending on like the actual shape you make, it's going to show different designs. So with that being said, it's really cool. But that is one of the first item glitches I want to show you in this video. This next one is also pretty sick. It's how you guys can actually make custom portals. Yes, you can literally make another portal if you really wanted to. All right, so what you're gonna need is a portal. Obviously, you probably guessed it. We're gonna place this and make sure it is anchored, and then we're going to grab ourselves a hinge block. We're going to make sure that the yellow part is facing in towards the portal, just like this. We're going to zoom in. We're gonna place the hinge right there, so you should be able to like see it. That's perfect. All right, now we're gonna go to our settings. We're going to turn PvP mode on. We're gonna grab a pilot seat, and then we're also going to grab ourselves some dynamite. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna place it and basically just destroy the portal. So we're gonna press F right there, and as you guys can see, that part just flung out of there. I actually recommend building a barrier so these parts can't actually go to the stages. Okay, I just recommend doing that. All right, so then once we have that part, now we can simply do it again, but you don't want to break the hinge. You gotta watch out. As you guys can see, I just broke the hinge. That was not good. It can be a little tricky doing it on your own, so if you have another person helping you out, what they need to do is basically just place the hinge block in there and make sure that it's anchored and they don't have PvP mode turned on, so then you can't technically break their hinge. So now we should be able to go like this and go like that and press F right there. There we go. Okay, so we broke that side, and we're gonna place one right here. We're gonna go like that, and and this might take a couple tries. All right, so what the problem was that I was coming across was you can't have share mode on, so just make sure that the other player on your team does not have share mode on, and it's that their hinge and nobody else's hinge, and then, well, bam, you're gonna have this really, really cool portal design, and it looks super awesome, and I believe you could just duplicate it. Let's go ahead and clone it. Does it clone? I think I broke the game. I think I broke the game. My tool's stuck. What is this? What is going on with my plot right now, bro? Should I reset my character? But yeah, you can get this pretty cool portal particle effect right here, and you can paint it. Still works. You can still paint it, and you can also build around it as well. So you can get very, very creative with it. So the other cool item glitch that I want to show you guys is how you can get shiny blocks. I've done a video on this before, but I wanted to bring it inside of this one just because it is a pretty cool, like, lighting glitch, I guess you could say, or feature. But there's a handful of items inside of Build-A-Boats that you can't actually paint. Well, you can paint them, but the full thing won't paint. Like, if I try to paint this right here, it doesn't work. If I try to paint this pumpkin, it doesn't work. This thruster, kind of, I mean, it does it like halfway, and there's a bunch of blocks like that. But there's this one thing which, if you actually take a potion and you throw it at a block that cannot be painted or changed colors, it actually makes it more shiny. What do I mean by that? Well, just take a look at this yellow chest, for example. Okay, here's one without the potion, right? There's no shine. One with the potion. Look at that shine. It's like a wax coat over the top of your item. Same with the pumpkin right here. It has a cool shine on it, which if I take a normal pumpkin and compare it to, you guys can see the one on the right side has a way better shine. Let's also test it with the thrusters, because if you're watching this video, then you probably have a thruster. A thruster isn't as noticeable, but it's still noticeable, and it still does work. So let's take ourselves our freeze potion, and so let's look at them beforehand. So this one, all right, you know, not really much of a shine. Let's throw it on the one on the right, and you guys can see here. Okay, and then this one, way more shiny. You can notice it, like, right there. There's a lot of shine on it. And then this one, nothing really much. But right there, you guys can see it. Like I said, with the thrusters, it's not as noticeable, but on all of the items that can't be painted or have their colors changed, it does a slight cool effect on them. Also, one of the most iconic glitches that I forgot to show in the last video is one of the coolest glitches ever, because there's so many cool things you could do with it. So with that being said, place yourself down a chair. I'm going to show you how you guys can break any block inside of Build-A-Boat. Well, there's only certain blocks that it works with, but majority of the blocks you can actually break. So we're going to sit inside of a chair. We're going to eat ourselves a blue candy just like this. We're going to place any block in our avatar, and now we can get to breaking some items. As I mentioned, it doesn't work on all items, but majority of items it works on. Like if I want to break this jet right here, I just broke that jet. I love using this one as an example because you can literally take apart the actual engine from the jet turbine, which I think is pretty cool. And you can actually go like this and actually ride this thing around, and it does work. So you can literally just detach the actual engine block from the jet. And I did one time, I replaced the engine of the red jet and I put it in the purple jet, and I reversed the engines. So I had a red jet that went in the purple jet speed and a purple jet that went the red jet speed. So it's really fun to play around with. So as I mentioned, you just simply sit in a chair just like this, and then you eat the blue candy, and then you shrink and you place any block inside the middle. Let's see if we can break. I think we can break a thruster. A thruster also works. Yeah, you guys can see right there. Look at that. That's pretty cool. And if you're wondering if it works, let's test it out. Let's place ourselves a chair on it. Jump up here. All right, here we go. And it works. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool right there. But if for some reason it doesn't actually break, or if the item, you know, is not breaking off of that glitch, well, you could always just do the classic thing that we did with the portal, and that's just to take TNT to it. So what I'm saying by that is, let's do, well, this one you have to have, it has to have a strength over 1, because if it has a strength of 1, it's just going to instantly break. So let's try it with the harpoon here. I recommend building a barrier so that way the pieces don't go flying down the stages. Have PvP mode turned on. Place yourself down the dynamite and simply activate, and you guys can see it right there. We just broke the dragon harpoon, and this thing is in 10 different pieces right now. Bro, what did I do? Wait, what is that? I literally just did, whoa, I disconnected the entire wait, what the heck? Whoa, it's teleporting. Wait, it's literally teleporting on me. What is going on with this thing? Hello? What the heck, bro? Okay, so yeah, it works with the harpoon. You can do it with a bunch of other items. It's really fun to mess around with. And if you're ever bored and you're playing Build-A-Boats, well, you could always do this in your free time. It's kind of fun to mess around with. If you have a lot of a certain block, you can use the brand new tool update. Well, not brand new, but, you know, the recent tool update that we got to create some really cool, like, particle effects, I guess you could call it. So, not really effects, but more of just absolute destruction. Just keep on mirroring layering a micro block over and over again, and just keep on going, clone that, clone it again. Also, it's super satisfying just seeing this right here. Like, look at that. That's so cool. And then do it again. Each one of these is an individual block, and what you can actually do is, well, you guessed it, take more TNT, throw it on a bunch of those layers right there, and then simply activate it, and it might freeze for a second, but it's actually going to launch all of these layers right here, and oh my gosh, guys, look at that. What in the world, bro? What have we done? It's actually so sick. Sometimes they also glitch underneath the map, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. But with that being said, if you guys want to see a part 3 where I show you even more cool glitches that you can do inside of build-a-boats, comment down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like the video and subscribe. Peace out and goodbye.